Well, good evening, and welcome to this Sunday, lovely evening, Sunday evening where we're just taking it easy and relaxing. Welcome to the Silver Show, and welcome those who are joining me on YouTube, those who are joining me on Facebook, and those who are joining me on Instagram, and also on the Overflow on TikTok. Thank you so much for joining. Well, tonight is a very interesting evening, as normally my Sunday evenings are. We try to have a sort of chill down evening like, and we're gonna have this discussion with Miss Butler. Miss Paulette Butler. You're gonna also hear the name of Miss Ann Butler, and she's the author of the books Caught Out and After the Hurt. Caught Out and After the Hurt. And without further ado, I'm gonna bring in Miss Butler to tell us about the books. But first and foremost, if I just do a little briefing, of course, Miss Butler, Anne Butler is a pseudonym used by Paulette Butler. Paulette has loved books and reading for as long as she can remember. Even as a small child, give her book a time to herself and she was happy. Paulette discovered romantic novels in her early teens, and that genre became a staple of her book consumption along with the thrillers and general fiction. Born and currently lives in London. She was born in London. Started her career in the British Council working on projects supporting cultural youth exchanges and language learning. And later on, for more than 20 years, Paulette was a business analyst working for a variety of clients. Example, Elsevier, Balfour Beatty, British Telecom, and the Ministry of Justice. Now, a million miles away from the corporate world, she writes women's fiction novels and dark short stories. She has published two novels writing as Anne Butler, After the Hurt and Caught Out. And she has two podcasts, channels, both of which can be found in Audible, Spotify, YouTube, or whatever. But I want to say we had a discussion last week and we're talking about the voices. Where are the voices sometimes that speak up on different issues? And I say to myself at the same time that there are voices. There are voices everywhere. And Paulette Butler is one of those voices, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got to be creating voices. And as they say, what we do, we give the roses while we live. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Miss Butler. Good afternoon, Paulette. And how are you doing?
I'm very hot.
Oh, you're very hot. Yes,
It's very
yes.
hot here in London.
It's very hot here. Yes, yes. I think it was
Yeah,
29 degrees or so. I just made my way back from on the outskirts of London as well,
yeah, yeah. So our listeners who are in the likes of New York and Florida are probably going, "Oh, you poor things, bless you, 29 degrees."
Oh, yes, yeah, yes. And actually,
But
sometimes
for
when,
us, this is a scorcher.
yeah, and sometimes when the temperatures are like -1 or -2 and we are complaining, somebody will send me a big mass of snow in Canada and say, this is -23, Silburn, please.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
someone in Jamaica will say, that is not hot, mate, you know? But listen, uh, the book Griffin, and want to thank you so much for joining tonight and for us to have this conversation after the hurt and caught out with Paulette Butler. But I sort of gave a sort of opening, a sort of synopsis of yourself. But of course,
Yeah.
the best person to ask who are they is actually the person themselves. So if one is to ask you, who is Paulette Butler? What would we say? What would the world can see?
I am an introvert masquerading as an extrovert.
You're
I
masquerading it.
I'm masquerading. I've been masquerading as an extrovert for so long that
Yes.
maybe now I really am. I am enjoying my second career as a writer,
Mm,
and I am wearing three hats. So I'm wearing the hat in my normal life as Paulette Butler,
yes.
and my friends, my family will know me as Paulette Amos Butler.
Yes. Yes.
um, but latterly, I am Anne Butler, the Book Griffin. The Book Griffin, because a griffin is a mythical character which safeguards and I am therefore one of the millions of keepers of stories, hence the book Griffin.
You capture stories, and I want to say, if I go straight in, the essence of these two books before we break them down, After the Hurt, on Caught Out, are these books based on experiences of yourself, or you're capturing experiences of others to bring light to it? What is it, if you can break it down?
They're both works of fiction.
About works of fiction.
They're both works of fiction. They are women's fiction novels.
Mm.
Some people would refer to them as romantic novels. The writing technical people, so for example, my editors tell me that they're not technically romantic novels. They don't tick all the boxes,
Yes.
which would technically categorize them as romantic novels. Therefore, they should more accurately be described as
Mm.
women's fiction. They are fiction. They are based in some way on my experiences, as in things that I have seen, not necessarily things that have happened to me. So I'm not sure if that feedback is me or you.
No, I'm hearing it clearly. I'm hearing it. You're
Okay.
coming through very clearly from my side here.
Okay. All
I
right.
believe
So,
now. You could even, yeah.
okay. The first novel, After the Hurt, the experiences that I have drawn on for that is the main characters, the two main characters are of Afro Caribbean descent, and specifically their parents are Jamaican.
Mm.
And I wrote the way, in particularly the way the main character Daniel speaks,
Yes.
is we're used to that way of Black Caribbean men of a certain age speaking. The character of Daniel is in his late 30s. Um, and the way I wrote the dialogue and the way I set up the scenes, it's very much London focused, London, the sort of the kind of the London way of speaking.
Mm.
And for people listening in the US, it is British English. It's not American English. Um, and the experience that I brought to this story is the Afro Caribbean London experience and the experience of working in the corporate world, because these are both professionals working in a corporate environment, and everything that comes with that.
I think the question I want to ask you is, I saw you sort of answered it already, that it is fiction.
Yes.
Sorry, fiction. So can we say that it is drawn? What is the experience, or what is the inspiration then behind? We're talking about After the Hurt. Let's deal with After the
Yes.
Hurt. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
So the hurt is mainly centered around, or is all centered around Jennifer.
Mm.
And there are three key stages of hurt that she experiences or has experienced.
Yeah.
I won't go into too much detail because I don't want to give away any spoilers.
Yeah.
But the main one is her upbringing is her parents uh, um, are Christian, are Pentecostal Christians,
Okay.
and um, which is also my history, my
Yes.
background. So that was something I drew on.
Yes.
Her parents are Pentecostal Christians. She was brought up very much in with those rules, um, and in that lifestyle and in that community. And as a young adult, she decided that this was not for her. She's moved away from that, She's carving her own path, and this has caused an estrangement between her and her parents, and that is the biggest hurt for her, because she is hurt that her
Yes.
parents don't understand that she's not rejecting them, and she's not rejecting Christianity. She's just rejecting their way of practicing Christianity, and she's going a different way. She's going a different route. So that's one of the hurts. And then the second hurt that she experiences is working as an attractive, I've described her as drop dead gorgeous, intelligent, articulate Black woman in a UK corporate environment.
Yes.
And some of the slights that she's experienced and that she has worked through and that she has succeeded in spite of. She's achieved success in spite of. And just some of the not just the slights because of her race, but also because of her gender and because of how she
Yeah.
looks, because she's beautiful. So, there are 3 hurdles that she has battled through in her professional life, and it has made her quite remote. So she's a bit, in romantic fiction terms, there are all of these tropes that a lot of romance authors, when they write a novel, they say it belongs to this trope. I would
Yes.
say After the Hurt, it belongs to 2 tropes. It's the colleagues to lovers,
Yeah.
and the grumpy sunshine. So she is grumpy, for want of a better term, and Daniel is outgoing. He's chilled. He's had his challenges, but he is, generally speaking, he's sloughed it all off. He's not carrying it. He's not carrying any weight
Yes.
as far as some of the tragedies that have befallen his family is concerned. So he's sunshine, and she's grump.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Let's switch it up a bit and go to Caught Out.
Yes.
Um, and in Caught Out now, I'm trying to see if some sort of similarities. Break it down with Caught Out now. What would you say is this? Okay. Tell us about Caught Out, and maybe link any similarities, if anything. Yeah.
Okay. Caught Out is in many ways a very different story.
Yes.
The key protagonists in Caught Out, they are white, they are younger.
Yes.
One is the guy is a CEO. The woman is the ordinary looking, slightly overweight, not considered beautiful daughter of an ex supermodel, and her older sister is a gorgeous TV presenter, club DJ. And the main character in Caught Out, her name is Amara. She is constantly trolled by cyberbullies, the media, the paparazzi, because, oh, look at your mother, look at your sister, and look at you.
Yes.
And this affects her in such a way that she becomes really introverted.
Yes.
She's not shy, but she's come in on herself, because it's how she's coped with the cruelty that she receives when she goes out in public and when she's with her mother and her sister, because she's considered less than. And the similarities between her character and Jennifer's character is that they are both carrying the weight of hurt.
Right. Right. And the bit regarding Caught Out, it talk about deception, isn't it? and
Yes.
unexpected
Yeah.
betrayal. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. The deception there is that.
Of course, I'm not wanting to tell everybody about the book because I want people to buy the book.
No, 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 no. Yeah, yeah. Of course, of course, of
Ladies and
course.
gentlemen,
It's
remember you buy the book. Yes.
yes. Buy the book. Buy the book. Buy the book. It's in the blurb, so I won't be giving. I won't be giving anything away when I say that.
Yes.
Um, her mother plays matchmaker
Mm.
because she feels that for a number of reasons, you'll have to read the book to find out.
Yes.
But for a number of reasons, her mother believes if I can find her a man who will stick by her.
Yes.
I mean, she's had partners over the years and it's
Yes.
not worked out. And her mother's decided if I can find a man who will stick by her, then
Mm.
she won't be on her own. She won't have to cope with the slings and arrows of all the judgment
Yeah.
of members of the public and cyber bullies and the negative post and the negative press. The tagline is on the blurb is "Bad press is her middle name" because she's referred to as her mother's bad press
Yes.
because they can find nothing good to say about her.
Mm.
So her mother believes if I can find her a man, someone who is staunch, someone who is strong, and he will stand by her so she doesn't have to battle this on her own. Unfortunately, her mother goes to extreme lengths to get this man for her and doesn't tell her daughter that that's what she's done. And the man is sworn to secrecy and is threatened um, to just, you know, there's a quid pro quo if you date my daughter, but if
Yeah.
you tell her, I will end you and your company. That's
Mm.
the story. So that's the betrayal, and the question mark over the story as we go through it is: will Amara ever find out that the man who is appears to be so besotted with her that he was actually um, her mother acquired him for her?
Um, Paulette Butler and
Mm,
Butler. You're not just
mm.
writing a book just because you want to convey a nice romantic Mills and Boone or Nancy Drew or one of these. Nancy Drew, no,
No,
Nancy Drew was
messages
Nancy, no, Nancy Drew was
was
detective.
mystery,
Yeah,
mystery.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was detective.
But
Yeah,
let's go Mills and Boone. I remember yeah, Mills and Boone.
yeah,
You-
yeah, yeah.
You're not just writing just a romantic book. You got a message, isn't it?
Um, I guess the underlying message is I don't like bullies. I don't like cruelty, and I guess that I want to sketch out for people who read this type of fiction.
Yes.
Um, this is the these are the consequences of being unkind to another human being. For you, it may just be one comment. You just made one comment, but if yours is one of hundreds of negative comments that this person
Mm.
hears, it's it breaks them down, it
Mm.
grinds them down. And I know there may be people listening who will say or may think, oh my gosh, come on, it's women's fiction, it's pulp fiction, it's just a bit of fluff. Yes, it is, it's a
Yes.
bit of fun, it is a bit of fluff, but the underlying message is words hurt people, your actions hurt people, and what you do and what you say has lasting damage, particularly in the character of Amara. This is where I went to some lengths and I did a lot of research to understand how an adult might
Mm.
present when they are suffering from the trauma of having been bullied for most of their lives.
Yes. What do you think that people are expecting to learn from from your books? Or put it this way. Yeah, what do you hope readers will learn from them? And that's one of the reasons why I want to bring both of them because what do you expect
Yes.
readers and why should someone because people tend to have this span of concentration is so short now. They don't want to spend that time.
Yes.
Why would someone want to open up a book and indulge?
It's escapism.
We want them to
That's
escape
it.
from. We want it. We want them to
It's
escape from.
it's the same reason why you would watch a film.
Mm,
There are those who are bookworms like myself.
yes.
There are people who like to, as much as they love to watch a film, they also like to escape between the pages of a book and
Mm,
a story that they enjoy and a trope that they enjoy. So whether it's a spy novel, whether it's a whodunit, all those books have their tropes. You know, a spy novel will have the trope where there is a double cross. That's the type of trope that you would see in a spy novel. In a murder mystery, the
yes.
trope will be right up until the last chapter. The person who you think had done it wasn't the person who done it. And so I have written two tropey women's fiction novels. Um, I have nothing groundbreaking,
Mm,
It's not, I haven't broken new ground with the structure of the story, the cadence of the story. But
yeah.
what I want is for people to, um, if you're a woman, you're Jennifer. You're Jennifer, the gorgeous professional, just trying to get on with your work, and you don't want your male colleagues constantly asking you out and then being
Yes.
snarky because you say, I'm here to work, I'm not here looking for a husband or a boyfriend.
Yes.
Um, if you identify with that kind of scenario, then you will understand Jennifer's story when you read After the Hurt.
Yes.
Um, and it is escapism. So I've written these books as entertainment. They're light entertainment, although
There's
they
a
go to
story
a little bit. They go in both stories. They go dark
there. Mm.
in a couple of places, but essentially it's light entertainment.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining me. And I'm with Miss Paulette Butler, author of the book After the Hurt, and Caught Out, and those on TikTok and those on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for persons who are saying hi. Charles Wallace, Luxton Lark, Black Harry, people are saying hello. And thank you so much for joining. And remember to share the show as much as possible, which is much appreciated. Um, the other thing also is in both books, I sense there's a touch of healing, isn't it?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
and in order for you to convey healing,
Yes,
and people tend to go beyond sometimes the pages and they go to the author. What would you
yes,
say healing mean to you, and what role as it the writing plays? Because there are different aspects in people's life, as some may be caught out and some
yes.
may be after the hurt. So, to someone listening now and then, what is that sort of subtle message or powerful message that you want to share, especially when it comes on to healing?
I would say so. There are two different healing. I'm going to say the word
Mm.
journeys
Yeah, yeah,
in both books. Um, in After the Hurt, it is a question of trusting your instincts,
yes.
um, believe what people tell you, but still verify.
Mm,
If something doesn't smell right, then just verify.
mm.
And that is a thread that runs through After the Hurt. And again, I can't say much more.
Yeah, yeah,
If you haven't read the book, it will.
yeah,
Um, there are too many spoilers.
yeah.
And in Caught Out, it's easier to talk about this one because the main character, the main female character, Amara, because the way she acts out her trauma from the years of bullying is that she finds it really difficult to hold on to her
Mm,
temper. So
mm.
when someone pushes her buttons, she loses it. and she had some incidents in school. Her mother, who is very influential, her mother now runs a global PR company. She's very influential, has got a lot of
Yeah.
money. Her
Yes.
mother covered it up, got her some counseling, and got her to channel the anger when
Yeah.
her buttons are pushed. But what she has done is, as she's become a young adult, she has learned to hide it. So the reader sees it, no one else knows that it's still there. And the path that she goes through in the story is managing that part of her personality, that part of her personality that when someone hurts her, she will destroy something.
Mm. We were on a show the other day, and we were talking about how society is, and we touched on briefly that little girl, child
Yes,
child Q,
we
child
did.
Q,
Yes,
and therefore
yes.
we all know based on that experience that she had, there must be that hurt fact there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And that, how do you can you relate to it, if anything? Can the book sort of relate to it to a certain extent? Yeah.
Um, well, none of the characters in my book
Mm,
have gone through anything like that, anything as devastating as what happened to that little girl.
mm.
Um, but yeah, I can't. I just can't find. I don't want to try and draw any parallels with that, because I think,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm going to leave that there.
Yes, yes. Because what I was looking at was that healing factor, and what
Yeah.
role is playing in that role there. Anyway, let's move on from that bit there. Based on the books that you've been sold so far, has there been like any sort of powerful feedback from persons? What was
Mm.
what and anyone that has been truly impactful on yourself? Feedback from persons?
Uh, yeah. Um, for Caught Out,
Yeah.
the feedback that I've received um, consistently refer to my main character as someone who is neurodivergent, and
Mm,
how they appreciate seeing a story written from the point of view of someone who is neurodivergent.
mm,
I did not set out to write about a character who was neurodivergent, but it struck me that the characteristics that I have given the character of Amara have led people to draw that conclusion. And I thought that was really powerful. It means that um, when I was doing the early drafts of the story,
yes.
there's this process where you get beta readers, and beta readers are basically, for authors, they're people who basically test drive the story for you. So they sort of kind of kick the tires of
Yes.
an earlier version and say, no, that doesn't make sense. That
Mm,
I don't see this happening. Um, I couldn't get anyone to read the whole book as a beta
yeah.
reader. I got bits and pieces of feedback. So when I finally published, I was really nervous that the feedback I'd get would be, this character, no, this
Yes.
isn't, people aren't like this. Even though I'd researched it, and
Yeah.
I decided, you know what, it's not been properly tested, but I'm going to go with it. And wow, the feedback says that I sketched out a character who was very believable indeed.
Mm.
So that for me was very impactful.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And the books are now being sold. The books are sold on Amazon, isn't it? And all of
They're on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Apple Books, Google, Playbooks, Kobo. If you search for After the Hurt and Butler, or Caught Out and Butler, um, then pick your bookshop where you would like to buy it. You can also buy it on my website. You can buy it from me on my website. If you're based in the UK, sorry, let me qualify that.
Yes.
You can buy both the ebook and the paperback on my website. But
Yes.
if if you're not in the UK, I can't provide you with the paperback purely because it costs a fortune in postage.
But
And
but but
yeah,
but as I said to
but you
someone,
can,
as I was
yeah,
advising someone recently who has a product in Jamaica, which they
yes,
want to export to the UK, but they said they had to hold back because the postage is a bit expensive. And I said to
hmm
him, this is what my advice was: don't look at the postage, look at the price of your product. If the persons want the product, they will pay the postage. So
I will, yeah, it's a tough time for people, and
no, no,
buying
no,
a
no, no.
paperback.
I'm gonna back up there. I'm gonna back up there.
Okay,
I'm gonna backtrack right there.
okay,
I'm gonna push back
okay,
against you by saying,
okay.
don't think about that, because when people want something, they'll go for it. You're seeing people in hard times, and they go for
Yes.
parties and they do things and they do. And you say, hang on a second, where do they get the money from? Because guess what? The need or the felt need or what they want, people will get what they want. So I'll use that same
For
advice.
enjoyment, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I use
yeah.
that same advice. What is out of your control, like the postage and etc. Don't worry
Yeah.
about the postage. That is the postage bit. You just deliver your product as much as possible. That's the thing.
But you
And
can buy the ebook. The ebook is without
oh yeah,
boundaries, without borders. So
yes,
you can buy the ebook on my website,
yes,
or on any of those other platforms that I've mentioned. You can get the ebook, and that costs nothing in postage.
yes. As someone said a while ago, so true to what I was saying, and they said people go all the way out for what they want. And so it's like people people. I mean, the book you're writing about is about people. People are dynamic, the different facets of persons. That
Yeah.
leads me to a question in regards to this. Like, what is it that in society? Let me get this question, because I drafted this question earlier, and I want to get it right.
Yeah.
Uh, do your stories reflect what happened in society today, especially in relationship and emotional well-being?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Mm,
Um, the dynamic in After the Hurt,
yes.
um, the I played around with the tagline, "A friend in need is an enemy indeed."
Okay.
But
Okay.
I felt that that might give too much away. When I spoke to, not just, this wasn't just me, but when I spoke to people in my writing group, and just talking to friends who are bookworms like myself, and
Yes.
we debated whether that would give too much away. But I'm going to say why I played with that tagline, and it's because the male character in After the Hurt
Mm,
has a best friend, and they have been friends for 20 plus years,
yes.
and he trusts this friend um, without qualification,
Mm,
and he should not have.
wow.
And that's all I'll say.
And ladies and gentlemen, in order for you to have the complete ending of that, you need to go to buy your books, and the book Griffin.
You
There it
need to
is.
buy After the Hurt.
After the
That's
Earth.
what,
Yes.
yeah. And caught out.
Yes. Caught out and After the Hurt. Caught out and After the
Yes,
Hurt. Um,
yes,
what
yes,
books? What is it about? Okay, to how society is operating now,
yes,
do people read books as how much they used to? I mean, we used to go to a library and read the books
yes.
now, because, but everything now is on your phone. You know, I'm trying to say, TikTok. You know,
But I still read loads, and
yeah,
because
but you're talking about yourself. We're
yes,
talking about, you know. Let's go down to. I mean, what's the age range are you for? What's your target audience?
Um, After the hurt, I
Mm.
believe it's it will be people in their late 20s and onwards,
Yes.
and people who have at least had three jobs because primarily because some of the scenarios, if it's your first job, you won't understand what on earth I'm talking about.
Yes.
And I say this because when I did a test read at my writing group,
Yes.
half the people around the table said, I don't understand what you just said.
Yes.
When I described the situation in the office, they
Mm.
said, I've never worked in an office. I don't understand that. Would that happen? And the other
Yes.
half around the table said, yep. In fact, I can name you someone, and this happened to me last week, and et cetera, et
Yes.
cetera.
Yes.
So I had to think about um, leaving behind potential market, but this was the story I wanted to write. So I
Mm.
wrote that story, and I thought other people will catch on. And Courtau is really is probably an easier audience to find because
Mm.
it centers around social media lifestyles, the lifestyle of people who live in the public eye, and society gossip, and the people who follow the lives of people who are on Love Island, for example.
Okay. Those are some
Um,
TikTokers. Those are like some TikTokers.
yeah, they
TikTokers.
will
That's me, man.
they will understand. They will understand caught out. They will
Yes.
understand the setup. They will understand the cruelty.
Yes.
And
Can I see
yeah,
how thick the book is? Can I see how thick the book is? Can I see how thick the book is? Put the book up back. Let me see how thick it is.
so it's 270 pages,
Okay. Okay.
both
Okay.
of them.
So that's a midnight reading. That's
270.
one night reading then for someone
And
who's very intriguing.
a couple of nights. So take a couple of nights of for someone who's got a full-time job. Probably take a
Yes.
couple of to get through it. But the my fourth book. One of my best friends gave me the idea for this a couple of years ago, and it's going to be my fourth book because the third book is is a priority. It was the next priority, but my fourth book is not going to be. In fact, my third book, the same. Neither of those will be women's fiction or
Yes.
romances in any way.
Mm.
So my third book will be an anthology of my supernatural stories from my Book Griffin podcast.
Okay.
So I'm going to revisit those stories and create short stories and put those into an anthology. And that's my next project. So that's
So
what I'm working on at the moment.
so simply put it, just like I think her name is White and White or whatever, Karen White. I guess you're just a superwoman then, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, but without the heartbreak. Yeah,
Yeah, yes. I was. You sort of alluded to what's next for you. So I think you
yeah,
sort of alluded to it regarding the anthology there. But what's next for
yeah.
you? Are there future stories that you're working on? New areas you want to explore as author? And of course, I
Yes,
believe presume speaker as well. Yeah. Mm.
yeah, the anthology, and after that, I want to write a family drama. I've got the
Okay.
idea already. It's two brothers. I don't want to say at
Yeah,
war.
exactly. You're gonna tell us. Yeah.
Yes,
Let me write it down.
yes.
Somebody's writing it down
So
already.
it will be. So this is nowhere near publication because I haven't even written the first
Yes.
sentence of this one yet. But it will be about two brothers
Mm.
who grew up separately, and for various reasons, one brother feels that he got the short end of the stick. He felt like um, So when their parents split, one lived with the dad and the other lived with the mum. So this is the story that I have in my brain. When I come
Yes.
to write it, I may change my mind. It may go somewhere different.
Yes.
But the story that I'm thinking of is one brother goes to live with the mum, the other brother goes to live with the dad. One brother, I haven't decided which yet,
Mm.
life goes slightly sideways,
Yes.
and he blames the parent that he didn't grow up with and the brother who grew up with the parent he didn't grow up with. And he's very resentful and self destructive. Um, and I need to work out in what way self destructive. I know I don't plan for him to start taking drugs or, becoming a gangster or anything like that. Nothing, nothing, nothing like that. Um, but it will be just if he self sabotages his relationship, self sabotages his employment, his career. That's where I'm thinking
Yeah.
he's going to go. So that's my plan. That's my plan for book 4. All being well, if we're all
Yes.
still here in 2026, 27, that's when that
Yes.
one will be
That's fun.
available.
Fantastic. You mentioned 4 books. So what's the third book?
So the
Caught
third book
Out.
will be the anthology. Will be the anthology.
Okay, the third book is the anthology, and the fourth book
Yeah.
is that family
Yeah.
drama thing, which is supposed to be on the news and airwaves and videos and all things. May- Maybe maybe send a message to Tyler Perry as well, because Netflix, everything
Oh,
is happening. Oh, did I say
oh,
something?
oh. No, no, no. I'm just thinking. Oh, maybe I need to go. Where does Tyler Perry live? Maybe I need to go and stalk him.
On-
Just all
Well,
this.
he's under
I've
some
got to
pressure now.
find it.
He's under some pressure now. So maybe if you go there now, it might be a good distraction for him.
Oh, right. Okay.
But listen, I want to thank you so much for coming on. But before we go,
Yeah.
let's make sure that persons are aware of how they can get the books. Definitely. I've
Yes.
got your contact details running there. You got the
Yes.
Instagram, on TikTok, there, Facebook.
Hmm.
What I just didn't have up there was your website.
It's
Mm.
annebutler.co.uk.
Okay, annbutler.co.uk. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
annbutler.co.uk. And you can get the books at where? With it?
You can,
Amazon?
yeah, you can buy the books from me on my website, or you can buy on Amazon or Google Play Books,
Yes.
um, and Kobo and
Yes.
Barnes and Noble.
Did you say annbutler.co.uk?
.co.uk, yes.
That's ANNBUTLER.
Yeah,
Okay, that's it there. Okay.
that's it. Yeah,
Annbutler.co.uk. Ladies and gentlemen,
yeah.
make sure you buy the book. And if person want anything special, like they want to get to be signed, is that possible for
It,
person?
it is possible.
Nothing is
It
impossible.
It is possible. If you order the book from me from
Yeah,
my website or from my TikTok account, you can order it from either of those places. Then I will sign it for you.
fantastic.
But if you're not fussed about whether or not it's signed, then you can buy it from wherever. If you're not in the UK,
Mm,
then it might be quicker and simpler to buy it via Amazon or um, one of those other sources that I've mentioned.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, definitely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining this afternoon on the Silburn Show, Sunday evening chills. And we just had the privilege of speaking with Miss Paulette Butler, author of After the Hurt and Caught Out. Her work explores complexity of healing, aftermath of pain, unexpected turns life can take. Her writing resonates with anyone who has faced adversity and sought to build or redefine themselves in its wake. However, it's fiction, but through her characters and narratives, Paulette invites readers to reflect on resilience, forgiveness, and the courage it takes to move forward. Let's begin our conversation and let's take it.
Well said.
That's it. That's correct.
Thank you.
Fantastic so much. Well, any last word before you go? You close the show. Tell us any last word that you want to share.
Um, Yes, my last word is for those of you who don't particularly like to read or don't have time to read, but you like to listen to audiobooks, then you can listen to my short story podcast,
Yes.
my short stories on my podcast, and it's the Book Griffin podcast. If you search online for the Book
Yes.
Griffin podcast, then choose wherever you want to listen to it. You can also listen on my website, annbutler.co.uk, and
Yes.
then tap listen, and you can listen to episodes there as well.
Yes. And what I've done, I think I want to just make it a bit static so persons can see
Yes.
that there it is.
Oh,
You
there
got
you
the
go.
you got
Yes.
the YouTube, the Book Griffin there. uh,
Hmm.
Paulette Butler. People can screenshot it if anything. And the website, as we mentioned, the website is annbutler.co.uk. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Paulette. I much appreciate
My
this,
pleasure.
and
Yes.
all the best. And have a good evening. It's nice sunny outside there still. I'm still using the outside lights.
Yeah, I need to go and sit outside with a nice cold drink.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye bye.
You
Thank you.
too.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining this evening as I was with Miss Paulette Butler. And remember, what you can do is to support her by buying the book. You can see the contact details there. And Butler 2023, TikTok, and Butler 2023. As a matter of fact, we're going to be doing some discussions on TikTok as well at some point to invite people to listen and sort of replicate the sort of interview and discussions over there as well, so people can actually partake. And I want to thank for all those who came on as well. Thank you, Belin. Thank you, Value Wisdom. Thank you, all different persons. And as well, it's a good night. So have a, what should I say, the best of Sunday night. And remember, this is going to be also on Spotify and Amazon for persons to also listen, because sometimes people just like to listen and they don't want to watch. So you can actually listen. So we created it in that way for you. Okay. Thank you very much and have a good night. Bye bye.